Hi, everybody. Welcome to the preseason video for the 2022 Montana State Spring League. I'm Jeff Schoonover, the Executive Director of Montana Youth Soccer, and I wanted to start the video with a few introductory notes. First off, we've got quite an exciting season coming up. I would like to thank everybody involved. We've got approximately 200 teams from 27 clubs signed up, with nearly 1,000 games to be played. I'd also like to encourage everyone to have a fun and safe season this spring, and to remember to respect our referees, coaches, and opponents. Enjoy the video and good luck this season. Thank you.
I just have a few things to go over. The first is game day. Obviously, coaches' responsibilities on game day are their players, the bench. The bench could consist of an assistant coach, manager, also the parents on the far side. You are, as the coach, you are responsible for the parents and how they react to the game. One of the things we go over in the grassroots courses is engaging the parents. At your parent meeting, this would be a great time to engage some parents to help monitor that side of the field for you, make your life so much easier on game day. Second is respect for the game, respect for the opponent, for the other coach, and for the referee. So coaches, when you're yelling at the referee because you don't like a call, or you're waving your arms saying, what are you doing? You're missing a good game. You are not showing respect for the referee or the game. A team is a reflection of the coach. If your players see you acting like this, then the chances are they're not going to respect the referee either. So show respect for the entire game, the opponents, the other coach, the referee, the fans. Last but not least, lopsided games. Every year we seem to have a handful of lopsided games. MYSA tries its best not to schedule these games, but they seem to occur. So if you see on your schedule that there's a game that you think is going to be lopsided, be prepared in advance. Think about what you're going to do to keep the score down, how you're going to do it. Talk to the other coach before the game. Ask, what is your club's policy on scores of the game? I am not aware of any club that is in favor of running up the score. So if you see this game is on your schedule, be prepared in advance. Usually each year we only have a handful of these, but this year we'd like to have 0. And to close, I'd like to say the majority of you, 99.9%, do an amazing job with your team, with your players, to make sure that the kids have a great experience. And MYSA really appreciates that. We're looking forward to a great spring season.
Good afternoon, everyone. Most of you know me. I'm Katya Andrew. I'm the Montana Youth Soccer State Registrar, and I am here today to talk about the game day instructions and the form section. I'm going to share my screen with you. And so if you type in montanayouthsoccer.com and go to our website, if you go to program and then go to Montana State Spring League, and this is where you will be able to find the schedule once it is posted as well. If you scroll down a little bit on the right-hand side, you can find the game day instructions. Here are the game day instructions for spring 2022. It is a great tool for managers. I put it in my managers' books so they know coming game day what to have in their binder. And so one official team roster, laminated player and bench personnel passes. Bench personnel passes to be worn around the neck during games, no exceptions. So this is for your coaches and managers sitting on the sidelines. medical release form for each player, copy of the sit-out verification for misconduct, and copy of the league concussion form. At check-in, you present an official team roster to the center ref to keep. Present your player and bench personnel passes to the center referee. Notify the center referee if your team's traveling referee is in attendance and available to work. If you have a player who is serving a misconduct sit-out, red card suspension during the game, notify the center referee before the game and ask them to, at the conclusion of the game, to complete and sign the sit-out verification form for misconduct. Head injuries and concussions. A player removed from any soccer activity out of concern that they suffered a head injury or concussion shall complete the possible concussion notification form. Such a player may not return to soccer activities of any type until they receive clearance to play by a qualified healthcare professional and have obtained clearance through a completed concussion return to play clearance form. If in doubt, sit them out. Note that the referee crew has the authority to deny entry to any players showing signs of a head injury or concussion there in a game. Also on this page are the forms that we were just talking about. So here's the parent information and consent form. Here's the league concussion form. The last page is the concussion return to play clearance form that you will need. And last but not least, the sit-out verification form for misconduct. I wish you all a great spring season, and let me know if you need anything else. Thank you all.
Hello and welcome to the 2022 Montana Youth Soccer Preseason Participant Meeting and Rule Change Presentation. If you have any rule or law interpretation questions, please feel free to visit the State Referee Committee website at mtsra.org. Please remember that every team is asked to have a certified referee able to assist when needed. Online and in-person courses are forming all over the state for the season, and we will use all the help we can get. Consider jumping in and helping to make sure that all games are covered by certified referees. It's also a great way to exercise, learn the game, and get paid for your help. Each year, IFAB introduces changes to the laws of the game to make a positive impact and benefit the game. For every change, the focus has been on fairness, integrity, respect, safety, the enjoyment of the participants, and the benefit of technology on the game. Remember that the laws cannot deal with every possible scenario. Therefore, where there is no direct provision in the laws, a referee is expected to decide within the spirit of the game. Such rare situation involves asking the question, what would football or soccer expect? The amendments for 2021-2022 season include Law 1, the field of play, Law 6, the other match officials, which we will not cover, Law 7, the duration of the match, Law 11, offside, Law 12, fouls and misconduct, and also a subject we will not touch on is the VAR protocol. The effective date of these changes is July 1, 2021 to June 31st, 2022. Competitions starting after July 1 are required to implement all law changes from here on out. Competitions starting before July 1 have the option to implement the law changes. The first change was to Law 1, Number 10, the goals. It simply states that the goals and crossbar of both goals must be the same shape, which must be square, rectangular, round, elliptical, or hybrid of these options. What was added for this year is just that a FIFA quality program for football goals was added for goals used in any FIFA or Confederation matches. Law 7, the duration of the match. Allowance for time lost. Allowances made by the referee in each half for all playing time lost in that half through substitutions, assessments and or removal of injured players, wasting time, disciplinary sanctions, medical stoppages permitted by competition rules, delays relating to VAR checks, or any other cause, including any significant delay to a restart. The addition of playing time to the duration of the match is to clarify that if, for example, there is a stoppage toward the end of the game that is longer than the remaining playing time, the additional time played and shown by the fourth official or the referee is the remaining playing time, not the length of the stoppage. Law 11, offside. Offside position had to be updated this year to include the new definition of what the hand and arm is. Last year, the area shown in pink is now defined as the hand or arm. The area in green is now considered part of the body. So when considering what part of the body is closer to the goal than the second to last defender or the ball when the ball is played by a teammate, this area in green may now be included in this determination of if a player is on or offside. Law 12, fouls and misconduct. Direct free kick for handling the ball. Direct free kick for handling the ball was updated to include the language that not every touch of a player's hand or arm with the ball is an offense. Let me repeat that. Not every touch of a player's hand and arm with the ball is an offense. It is an offense if a player deliberately touches the ball with their hand or arm, for example, moving the hand or arm towards the ball. Touches the ball with their hand or arm when it has made their body unnaturally bigger. A player is considered to have made their body unnaturally bigger when the position of their hand or arm is not a consequence of or justified by the player's body movement for that specific situation. By having their hand or arm in such a position, the player takes a risk of their hand or arm being hit by the ball and being penalized. Or scores in an opponent's goal directly from their hand or arm, even if accidental, including by the goalkeeper, and immediately after the ball has touched their hand or arm, even if accidental. Removed from this is that if a ball touches a hand or arm and goes to a teammate and they score, that can now be a legitimate goal if the hand or arm touched by the ball was not deliberate. Here's an example of scoring a goal directly off a handball to a teammate. This is not considered a handball. Law 12, fouls and misconduct. The direct free kick is a kick that is awarded if a player commits any of the following offenses. The section that was updated was bites or spits at someone on the team lists or a match official. A direct free kick or a penalty kick can only be awarded if an offense by a player is against someone on the team lists. which can include players on the field, substitutes, sent-off substitutes, match officials, team officials, etc. Another change to Law 12 is the indirect free kick. An indirect free kick is awarded if a player now initiates a deliberate trick for the ball to be passed, including from a free kick or a goal kick, to the goalkeeper with the head, chest, knee, etc., to circumvent the law. Whether or not the goalkeeper touches the ball with the hands, the goalkeeper is penalized if responsible for initiating the deliberate trick. What this means is that if a player kicks the ball from the ground or from a free kick or a goal kick up, and then say heads it to the goalkeeper or knee or chests it to the goalkeeper, an indirect free kick will now be awarded to the other team. Along with that comes the disciplinary action of getting cautioned for unsporting behavior. There are different circumstances when a player must be cautioned for unsporting behavior, and it now initiates a deliberate trick for the ball to be passed, including from a free kick or goal kick to the goalkeeper with the head, chest, knee, etc. to circumvent the law, whether or not the goalkeeper touches the ball with the hands. If the goalkeeper is responsible for initiating the deliberate trick, the goalkeeper is cautioned. Some language was added to Section 4 of fouls and misconduct, the restart of play after fouls and misconduct. If the ball is in play and the player commits a physical offense inside the field of play against an opponent, an indirect or direct free kick or penalty kick is awarded. A teammate, substituted or sent off player, team official, or a match official, a direct free kick or penalty kick is awarded. All verbal offenses are penalized with an indirect free kick. Added is if the referee stops play for an offense committed by a player inside or outside the field of play against an outside agent, play is restarted with a drop ball, unless a free kick is awarded for leaving the field of play without the referee's permission. An outside agent is someone not listed on the team sheets or the match officials. And the final change to the 2021-2022 IFAB laws of the game are a definition update to offensive, insulting, or abusive language to include action or actions, verbal or physical behavior, which in the opinion of the referee is rude, hurtful, or disrespectful, will be punishable by a send-off, red card. The Montana Youth Soccer Code of Conduct is located within the policy manual on montanayouthsoccer.com's website. You can also find the bylaws, risk management manual, athlete and participant safety policy, U.S. Youth Soccer bylaws and policies, and other information. Policy 2-100 of the Code of Conduct states that alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, and any other illegal drug is not permitted at any Montana Youth Soccer event. This means any soccer activity event hosted by Montana Youth Soccer or any of its member clubs, including but not limited to practices, games, tournaments, Montana Development Program, annual general meetings, board of director meetings, or any committee meeting. Any person violating Section 3 of this policy will be immediately removed from the event by the Montana Youth Soccer Competition Authority managing the event. This may also include field marshals, coaches, or referees. Policy 2-200, prohibition of dogs and animals at fields. Please remember that we're trying to create a safe environment for all youth soccer players and all individuals in attendance at events. Therefore, dogs and other animals are strictly prohibited from being near playing fields or within a playing field complex during an MYSA event. MYSA event examples are club training sessions, club league games, MYSA league games, club tournaments, MYSA state tournaments, ODP training sessions, and all other MYSA sanctioned activities. Any person violating Section 3 of this policy shall be immediately removed from the event by a Montana Youth Soccer Authority present at the event, such as a club official, field marshal, coach, or referee. Failure by an MYSA affiliate to enforce this policy at their facility during an MYSA event may result in disciplinary action, which would include $250 fine for a first offense, $500 for a second offense, or $1,000 for a third offense, and additional possible suspensions from MYSA activities. Policy 2-400, Sportsmanship. Individual clubs, their administrators, directors, and boards are responsible for the sportsmanship behavior of all players, coaches, parents, fans, and administrators who are members of or associated with individual teams or players of that club. Sanctions directed upon individual teams, players, or coaches from that club may be applied to any or all teams, players, or coaches from that club if significant and satisfactory actions are not taken by the club to eliminate unsporting behavior by their membership. Said remedial actions are to take place and be documented in writing to this association. Unsporting behavior shall include, but not limited to, cheating, including knowingly or continually breaking or attempting to circumvent the laws of the game, teaching, condoning, or allowing players to knowingly and continually break or circumvent the laws of the game, intentionally lying to referees, administrators, or other match/tournament officials concerning any matter related to the integrity of the game, verbally directing comments to or in the vicinity of players from either team, coaches from either team, referees, assistant referees, match tournament officials, intended to intimidate, insult, distract any of them from the normal aspects of a match. Physically engaging in behavior intended to gain an unfair advantage in any match, intimidate, insult, or distract any participant in a match, assaulting non-verbally, gestures or spitting at or on, or verbally any official, player, coach, fan, or parent before or after any tournament or match, battery of any nature directed at any individual before, during, or after any match or tournament event, or destruction of any property of any participant, official, fan, or parent before or during or after a match or tournament event. These above rules establish ethical violations, which are sanctionable by this association. They are not intended to usurp or replace the directive regarding referee abuse, referee assault, or assault by a referee as prescribed by U.S. Soccer Federation. Policy 2-500 deals with coach misconduct. You may pause this video now if you would like to read this section. Policy 2-700, Misconduct toward game officials. U.S. Soccer Federation Policy 531-9 pertains to misconduct toward game officials. Misconduct against any referee may occur before, during, and after the match, including travel to and from the match. Misconduct may also occur at later times when directly related to duties of a game official as a referee. Referee assault is an intentional act of physical violence at or upon a referee. Assault includes, but is not limited to, the following acts committed: hitting, kicking, punching, choking, spitting on, grabbing, or bodily running into a referee, headbutting, the act of kicking or throwing any object at a referee that could inflict injury, damaging the referee's uniform, or the referee's personal property, car, equipment, bags, etc. Referee abuse is a verbal statement or physical act not resulting in bodily contact, which implies or threatens physical harm to a referee or referee's property or equipment. Abuse includes but is not limited to the following acts committed upon a referee: using foul or abusive language toward a referee, spewing any beverage on a referee's personal property, spitting at, but not on, the referee, or verbally threatening a referee. Please remember that many of our referees are children under the age of 18. Abuse toward a referee may also constitute child abuse in this scenario. Penalties and sanctions are listed here. Policy 2-800, Zero Tolerance. All clubs are to develop and adhere to a policy of zero tolerance for referee abuse and abuse directed toward anyone. The purpose of such policy is to establish an environment that is conducted to good sportsmanship. The game will benefit if respect is shown by and to everyone involved, including referees, coaches, players of teams, parents, and fans. To establish an environment that is conducive to recruitment and retention of referees, youth, young referees, are especially vulnerable to improper comments or behavior exhibited by coaches and fans. To establish a policy that requires referee abuse in any form to be dealt with quickly and convincingly, appropriate sanctions for improper behavior need to be established and enforced without exception. It is expected that everyone involved in Montana Youth Soccer Association activities will behave in a responsible manner. Please be aware of the following. Youth soccer is a learning experience, and mistakes are made by all involved. This includes referees, players, and coaches. Respect should be shown to all players, coaches, supporters, and officials. Supporting a team does not give you the right to be rude or abusive. Please respect the integrity and judgment of the officials and refrain from abusive, inappropriate actions or words. Please behave in a manner that exhibits class and that would never cause Montana Youth Soccer Association or the embarrassment of its member clubs.
At you to go get this kid and to beat him and to do that, you're almost willing to do whatever it takes to beat a player, and sometimes you're taking it a little too far, and it can really change and influence the way the game's being played, and it can go from a really normal type game to a game that quickly becomes out of control just by the way a parent acts.
When the parents act up, it affects the play of the game, and the fact that the parents don't realize that the least little bitty thing that's said is, hey, you know, don't let them push you off the ball, or get them next time. Well, the player starts thinking about that, and then as a result, I've found out that better than 60% of the time that player commits a foul within the next 2 minutes or the next time they come near somebody, because the parent has said, don't let them do that to you, so they don't want to let them do it, and they'll push them.
When parents start yelling, you might be on a total different part of the field, so you don't even know what they're yelling at. It might have been like a little shove on the other side of the field, so you're turning your head to see what's happening over there, and then the ball might be by you and you won't even notice it because you're so worried about what the parents are yelling about over there, and you might not even be anywhere near them.
You got him! Oh, he's got him in the box! You got his jersey! How can you not see that right there?
I can see him holding his shirt by the sleeve. I didn't think it was a new rule. Good job. Oh, man, they did. Good job, man. Good job. Hey, Mark. Good job. Oh, come on.
It would get me down a lot. If my mom started screaming, if I played on the field, I'd just be like, Mom, can you please be quiet? And if she didn't, then I'd just, I guess, get mad, and then I would ask to be subbed off and not play, and just be like, Mom, see, I won't play if you scream at me.
The same thought surfaces time and time again. In the wake of abuse and harassment, who will officiate?
That's a goal kick. No way! Becky is mad. Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding!
I've repped a few games. I've been on the sideline as a linesman, and people talk to me. So sometimes it's not as bad, sometimes it's really bad. Like they'll yell and say that, you know, bad things like, you know, are you blind? Can you see that? There's things like that. And yeah, if it happened to me consistently, I wouldn't referee anymore either.
When parents yell things, I get very embarrassed because I don't know if my call was right or wrong, and I don't think it should really matter, but they should just let us play the game, and what I call it should be the final call. And I get very discouraged, like if I call it for red and they yell it's all blue, and I don't know if I was right, and I just think they should need to be quiet and just play the game.
Come on, ref, both ways, let's go!
I know how it's being a ref. If they keep yelling at you and you get like discouraged, you're not going to want to keep on reffing because get discouraged and you don't really, you wonder why the fans and the coaches have to yell at you, because you know what, you made your call and you think that's right. And if you didn't think it was right, you wouldn't make the call.
I think a lot of refs quit because of parents on the sidelines and coaches, because they get really mean and obnoxious and they say like, you stink and all this other stuff, and they tell them to get glasses and get off the field, and I just think it's really bad. Like, I would never want to be a ref.
A few simple measures can be taken to reverse the hostility that finds its way onto the field.
What would make soccer more fun for me is if the parents, even of opposite teams, got along at the games and maybe all sat together and then they cheered on for both teams, and it wasn't, I know there's going to be some competition, but maybe just at the games there wasn't, but at tournaments there was competition. So at the games it would just be like fun scrimmage and it didn't really matter who won.
Well, I think we convince more referees to stay with the game by like asking the parents and fans to settle down on the sidelines, as well with the coaches.
I think if everyone would just sit down and relax about the game and let the game keep flowing, I think the game would be a lot easier to play.
As a ref, the game of soccer would be more fun if the parents weren't so concerned about what I was doing on the field, but what their players were doing on the field, and they give their players more support about how they're playing, and they just pay attention to the game and just have fun.
If you were a parent, I would just tell you to be quiet during the game and let the kids play, and they would play so much better, and it would just make it a lot more fun. And in the long run, there would be a lot more kids playing soccer and a lot more refs reffing, and it would just make the whole program better.
At the end of the day, the message remains the same. From being supportive and respecting individuals to being even-tempered on the sideline, it's the words we speak and the way we present ourselves. We influence the game and the way it's played. We set the example. Attitude is contagious, so let's make it a positive one.
My mom actually doesn't usually yell at me, because if she does, I just tell her to be quiet, because she has no reason to tell me what to do, because I'm playing the sport, and I don't think she knows how it feels to be out on the field. And
If they were more educated in the game, then they probably wouldn't yell out most of the stuff they yell. And so it might like give the kids a better chance to do better in their game.
They're already stressed out, they're already mad at something, so they just get mad at someone else, something else, like a referee or a player or coach when out on the field.
When you got parents going back and forth against each other and then yelling at their kids, especially when they do have a qualified coach that's teaching them one way and their parents are telling them to do another way.
You know, when I leave the field, I think, I'm sorry that team has to listen to that day in and day out. I'm sorry they have to go home with those parents. I really am. I mean, that's harsh to say, but the reality is they're going home to that environment, and does anyone really need to hear that? No.
If the parents or fans, if they don't have anything good to say, then don't say anything.
As my mom being a coach and a parent, I'm more comfortable with her being a coach because she's on the other side and she knows what she's going to say. And she knows if she says something bad that it could affect her whole team.
And I call that enthusiasm, so thank you for your enthusiasm. But they start to go and then they get boisterous, and then it filters down. You know, attitudes are contagious, and some people are just not worth catching.